The first time I met Dr. Cole Matthews, he was covered in blood, none of it his own, and barking orders like a man who had forgotten what softness felt like. The second time, he was staring at me like I was the last thing on earth he wanted to deal with. That was before I made him smile. It was the third week of my clinical internship at St. Augustine Memorial, the kind of hospital where everyone whispered his name like it carried its own warning label. Cole Matthews, 32, former military medic, now the alpha who ran the ER like a battlefield. He didn't do small talk. He didn't do friendly. And apparently he didn't do smiles. I wasn't supposed to even work his shift that night, but an Omega nurse called in sick, and they pulled me from pediatrics to help with intake. That's when a car accident victim came in, glass embedded, arm broken, half conscious. Cole was at the center of it all, hand steady, voice clipped. "Vitals," he demanded, and I scrambled to read them out. BP 90 over 60. Heart rate 110. "Faster," he snapped, eyes narrowing. I wanted to tell him I wasn't slow, just trying not to trip over my own fear, but there was no time. When the chaos cleared and the patient was stable, I expected him to dismiss me with that same cold efficiency. Instead, he paused. His eyes scanned my face, lingering for half a second too long. It wasn't warmth, not yet, but it wasn't dismissal either. Over the next few weeks, I kept ending up on his shifts. Coincidence, I told myself. But it was hard to ignore the way he sometimes lingered near triage when I was there, or the way his gaze softened barely when I spoke to patients. Still, Cole was an alpha with walls higher than the hospital roof. And I was an Omega who'd promised myself never to fall for someone unreachable. I'd done that once before. It had left scars. The night everything changed started with rain. The ER was quiet for once, just the hum of machines and distant chatter. I was on my break, sitting in the staff lounge, scrolling through my phone, when the door creaked open. Cole walked in, not rushed, not commanding, just there. "You're off in 10, right?" he asked. I nodded. "Why?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he sat across from me, elbows on his knees, studying me like he was searching for the right diagnosis. "You always look people in the eye when you talk to them," he said finally. I blinked. "That's normal. Not in here. Most people avoid it. Easier that way." There was something in his voice, not sadness, exactly, but the shadow of it. I didn't know what made me do it, but I smiled. A small, quiet thing. And then God help me, Cole Matthews smiled back. It wasn't much, just the faintest curl of his lips, gone almost before I registered it. But it was real. Cole didn't smile often after that night, but I learned something. He didn't avoid me anymore. Sometimes, during lulls in the ER, we would talk. Not about anything earth-shattering, coffee preferences, the worst hospital food disasters, the fact that he hated mornings and cats equally, but it was more than he gave anyone else. Then came the shooting. A mass casualty incident rolled into the ER like a hurricane. Sirens screamed. Blood slicked the floors. I'd never seen Cole move faster. He was pure command, directing staff, making split-second decisions that saved lives. But then one of the victims, a teenage Omega, started crashing. I was at the bedside when Cole got there. He worked on him for minutes that felt like hours, but in the end there was nothing. I saw it then, the thing behind his walls. When the boy's parents arrived, wailing, Cole didn't flinch. He handed off the case and walked straight out of the trauma bay. I followed him, I don't even know why. He was in the supply closet, leaning against the shelves, his hands gripping the metal so hard his knuckles were white. "This is why," he said without looking at me. "This is why you don't get close. You lose them anyway." Something inside me cracked. "You think shutting everyone out makes it hurt less?" I said. "It doesn't. It just makes you alone when it hurts." He looked at me then, eyes burning not with anger, but with the kind of exhaustion you can't sleep off. "You don't understand," he said. "Then explain it to me." And he did. His brother. The war zone. The field hospital that was bombed when Cole had been off shift. How he came back to rubble and silence. He never forgave himself for not being there. After that night, something shifted. We didn't label it. We didn't need to. There were coffee cups left on my desk. Accidentally timed breaks. glances that lasted too long. But Cole still fought it. The breaking point came when I got hurt. A car accident on my day off, nothing fatal, but bad enough to land me in his ER. I woke up to find him standing over me, his hands trembling. "You scared me," he said, voice low. "You scare yourself every time you feel something," I whispered back. He exhaled, slow, like letting the truth out for the first time. "I can't lose you," he said. "Then don't," I answered. It wasn't dramatic after that. No grand declarations in the rain. Just closeness. He started walking me to my car after shifts. We started having lunch together in the park across the street. Sometimes his hand would brush mine, and he wouldn't pull away. And one evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the world gold, we sat on that park bench. He reached for my hand, lacing his fingers through mine. No hesitation this time. "You're the first person who's made me smile in years," he said. "Then I'll just have to keep doing it," I teased. He leaned in, forehead resting against mine, and for the first time, Cole Matthews, the alpha who built walls like fortresses, let them fall completely. The world didn't end. Nobody died. Instead, the man who once believed love was a liability sat there with me, in the fading light, like it was the only thing that mattered. And for the first time, we both knew neither of us was alone anymore. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.